In this Sean Speaks episode, I get to speak to you from my heart about an important part of parenting, family life, and a parent's mental health and mindset. I want to help you thrive in how you speak to your kids and how you speak to yourself. Sean Speaks is a live teaching I did with a Zoom room filled with my VIP members. It's interactive, it's spontaneous, it's raw and unedited. If you'd like to go deeper with me, visit my website. One of my favorite sayings, you hear me say it a lot. I love saying it. It is, parenting is never about what it's about. Oh, it's such a true statement. And then what I normally follow that up with is it's normally about trust, the lack of trust or the celebration of trust. But sometimes what I have found is that what parenting and even all of our relationships come down to is the word power. I want you to just take a second and just let me speak to you. Take a deep breath and nestle into your chair. Just let me encourage you here. And let's talk about power in parenting for a minute. Now, I love feeling powerful. I love it. I asked myself to get ready for this talk. What are some times in my life when I felt very powerful? The first thing that came to my mind is when I bought my first house. It's like, yes, I have land. It made me remember that movie Far and Away with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. And they had no land, Shannon. And he runs and he puts a stake in the land. And he has his land. It reminds me of my ancestors because my name is Sean Patrick Donahue and the Irish people struggling for land. It made me think of remodeling that house, painting it inside and out, making it beautified. It was a foreclosed house on a bad street in a bad neighborhood and what we could afford. And I grinded and we made that house. It made me think about going to college, just breaking free from my mother's house and just living life on my own terms. It made me think of going to the grocery store. I love the grocery store. I feel very powerful. I still feel like a kid. It's like there's this little Sean kid in the grocery store, picking the cart, and I get to buy whatever I want. I could buy this. I could buy that. I am in charge. I feel very powerful. But the antonym of powerful is I hate, just like you do, feeling powerless. Feeling powerless. I think back to times when, we just didn't know how we're going to pay this bill, how we're going to pay this student loan. These times of, marriage struggle, being like, how are we going to get through this? How can I get her to change? How can I get her to see me or see this problem? Think back to just early childhood stuff, going through life with my parents and just feeling like, why are they like this? Why are they doing this to me? I wish I could get them to change. And now I think of the joys of power in parenting. Think about that. What are some times in parenting when you just feel so powerful? The first thing that came to find for me is Christmas. Those moments where you're just sitting around the Christmas tree on those nice morning moments and everything is right in the world. And you feel like I did it. Like I'm giving my kids this gift of a nice childhood. They got a Christmas tree. They got a parent who loves them. I feel like I was able to afford these presents. And I'm sitting here with my little coffee and just being grateful and all is right in the world. Or that times when your kids were younger and you were maybe at like an outing at a park or at a party and you told your kids, okay, it's time to go. And then they listened. They freaking listened. They're like, wow, I feel so good. They listened to me. Or those moments, I remember it so vividly, where she was 5 at the time and she's 7 now, my youngest. We were ready to go for school and it was all chaotic, stressful morning. And I look over and you see this little sweetie pie, age 5 or 6, with her backpack, which is like the size of half of her body over. And she's ready, all ready to go for school. She's ate breakfast. She's in a good mood. She smiles. I feel like, wow, I feel so powerful as a parent, but then you feel so powerless, so painful. If you even look at your buttons, take a look at your buttons on page 16 for a second. You could actually make the argument that for many of our buttons, they're all somehow connected to forms of powerlessness. Like we're feeling inhuman, dehumanized, like we don't have what we want. Maybe you feel helpless or powerless. You feel maybe taken advantage of, or you just feel unloved or disconnected or anxious. These are all like things, if you go deeper, one of the things you'll find is I don't have power here. I don't have power, and I hate it. I hate it. I think back to me driving these stupid minivans, and we actually don't have a minivan anymore. That is a big accomplishment. Guys, I'm getting old. You know you're old and you don't own a minivan anymore. We own a Grand Highlander now. All right. And the kids are arguing and they're yelling and they're complaining on a vacation. You feel so powerless. Like, what is going on? Why? You want to just snap your fingers and get your freaking magic wand and hit them with it, or do some magical stuff with it. That was a joke. Probably shouldn't joke about hitting kids. Anyways, this is why it's a private VIP membership. I can say edgy things sometimes, and you guys forgive me and understand. Or you know what? The hardest part of parenting for me, some people say, what's your, the teen years, the age 2-year-olds. For me, it's just the bedtime routines with those like kids, kids like age 8 and under. It's just so challenging. I'm exhausted and they don't listen and this is so powerless. Look at your reactions for a second, because on Monday Mindset, I want to see you open your mind, because there's a reason why we feel so deeply with our kids. There's a reason why we do our reactions. There's a reason why our kids are doing their reactions. Think about your kids' reactions for a second. Why do they yell? Why do they act out? Why do they have temper tantrums? Why do they sneak? Why do they lie? Why do they deceive? Why do they even do self-deprecation? These are all actually just manifestations of their own powerlessness. I'm alive. I'm a human. I want to be in charge. I want things to go my way. I want power, and I don't have it. And I don't know how to cope with it, Mom or Dad. I've never taken a class on it. I've never taken a class on how to cope with these huge emotions. I really don't like this, because when I was a baby, I would cry, and then you would hold me, nurse me, do all these things. And now I'm a teenager or I'm a tween, and I don't like feeling all these human emotions. And then they react, and then we feel powerless. So everyone's feeling powerless, and we might join the circus and then round and round go, or we go like this, or we slow it down and we say, look, we understand through our own mind that this child is going through something, and they need me. They need me to be their teacher. They need me to be their connector. And it's hard, because the way they're reacting right now, it pushes me away. They're like giving a hug to a porcupine. That sounds really stupid and hard. And I would not want to do that. But hard things are hard, and hard things are often beautiful. Not hugging a porcupine. I've already moved past that. We're talking about being there for our kids when they're all prickly and they're cactusy or cacti-y, and they're just bothering us, and they're just nagging, or they're yelling, or they're people pleasing, or they're self-deprecating, they're criticizing, or they're just coming at us hard with that defiance. And so what do we do? So really, parenting is never about what it's about. You know what it is about? It's about thriving in our own power and our own powerlessness. Because if you're struggling with your own criticisms of people pleasing, of avoiding, of caving, what it means is that you are really struggling with your power. You are so freaking powerful, and you're having a hard time stepping into your power, stepping in to parenting, stepping into being the parent that your kid needs. And then let's go to the other end. If you're struggling with anger, yelling, lashing out, harsh punishments, reactive parenting, negative body language, criticisms, well, what that means is that you're probably struggling with feeling powerless. It sucks. It sucks. Did I tell you it sucks feeling powerless? And so what do we do is, well, to thrive in this, we've got to step into our own power, realize that feeling powerless is a normal part of parenting. It comes with a job. If you didn't want to feel powerless and disrespected, you shouldn't have had kids in the first place. What'd you think? They're just going to pop out these little bonsai trees? Be like, I am here to serve you, master. No, that's a fantasy that we must have seen of some stupid thing we watched one day. It is in the grind, and that is in this grind, this messiness is where it gets so beautiful, where you grow together. And it's in this membership and these conversations we're having where we do this hard work of ourselves to wake up and be like, okay, I am ready to love. I am ready to love, because really that is the antidote, and that is the solution to our problems. It's love. Just that's kind of what we do here. Whether you call it a heart talk or shared problem solving or self-care or a timeout, or you call it shared confusion or whatever parenting tool we want to put on it, it's just different forms of love. Because what true love is sharing power with our kids, is teaching teaching them to share power with us, teaching them to step into their own power in positive ways. These are all forms of love, and I love being here with you guys. Parents, thank you for letting me be a positive voice in your life. I love you and I love your family. If you're sick and tired of those same painful patterns in your parenting or the same painful bad behaviors in your kids, then what are you waiting for? Join me in my VIP membership. I'd love to speak with you and give you the specific tools that you need.